let's just start off, let's talk a little bit about, you know, kind of the history of the stock show today. This came about, a lot of it with cattle shows.
Well, it started out, 1958 was the very first meeting. And they held it over in Rapid City Laundry Building, which is now Serval, located in downtown Rapid City.
Okay.
And they met there, planned their first stock show, and what it was the Chamber Ag Committee, the Rapid City Chamber of Commerce Ag Committee. And they got together and said, you know, we should be showcasing our local cattle.
Yeah. And
that's what they started with. They started out with 3 breeds. They came back in, got their first show put together. It was all held down here at the fairgrounds at the Soule building. And of course, if you've been in the Soule building, it's not a fantastic heating source in there.
Right.
And I imagine it was probably a, you know, hot coffee and your nose dripping in it type of setting back there for them. But it was pretty ranchy, you know. I mean, it was really kind of a rugged deal. But they started out with 3 breeds. The Central States Fair helped support the event, obviously, because it was on the fairgrounds. And finally, in 1966, the Chamber Ag Committee said, we're just turning the entire event over to the fairgrounds. So it went from becoming the Black Hills Winter Show, and it became the Black Hills Stock Show. And so it was the Black Hills Stock Show for many years. We added the rodeo, and as soon as the Civic Center was built, and it became Black Hills Stock Show and Rodeo, it's just been growth ever since.
Yeah. And so, all right, so we're here with Matt Odden. Matt, tell us just a little bit about what we're doing here at Youth Livestock Show.
Youth from all over the country that bring in cattle for this show, just to give an opportunity for those kids to showcase their livestock. Kind of the middle of the winter, there's not a ton of stuff except for the big time shows, and not everybody is comfortable with going to that kind of thing. So we're trying to showcase our animals and present them to the best of their abilities.
Sure.
And there's a lot of work you got to do as far as, you know, halter breaking these cattle and getting them comfortable with the kid, and using a show stick, using a comb, things that just, they're not things that normal cattle are going to see every day.
Right.
So you got to teach them and train them, and there's a lot of work to it. And it really has to be, like for us, it has to be a whole family affair. If it's not, we're just not going to be successful.
Right.
I grew up doing this. I started showing cattle when I was 8 years old.
Yep.
And I love it. And it's really rewarding when we do have success. And the kids do appreciate that.
Nobody starts showing cattle when they're 35 years old. They start when they're kids, and this is just like a sport. If you want your kids to be good in baseball or softball, you start them when they're kids so that they might have a chance at a college scholarship or maybe the pros.
Right.
And the same is true with showing livestock. You start when they're young, they learn how to show, they learn about how to work with the judge and to make eye contact and never take your eyes off the judge, how to set your animal up. They learn how to care for the animals. And what I found when we do interviews for scholarships, I have never had a bad interview with a ranch kid that has worked with cattle or sheep or goats.
Yeah.
They are responsible, they take care of things, they know what they're looking for at a young age. They know what they're looking for in their genetics for their herd, because someday that's going to be their place.
There's a lot of learning opportunities for these kids, you know, and so part of it is, you know, they showcase their livestock, but they're able to see what the judge is looking for and what they're picking, and so that, you know, be able to judge livestock down the road and that sort of thing. It's also an opportunity for them to just to learn some responsibility, you know, because not every kid is feeding them every day and things like that. I mean, parents are quite involved, but kids learn, you know, that, hey, we've got to feed these livestock and we've got to, you know, pay attention to what they're feeding, how they look, you know, what they're eating, and make sure that they're not sick, you know. So those responsibility factors that we have.
The calf is just really good in a lot of ways. It's all basic, it's sound, easy feeding. The calf has got that good look.
We're here with Senator John Thune at the Black Hills Stock Show and Rodeo. Well, we sure appreciate you being here. It's a wonderful event, you know, not only for the producers and the people in agriculture, but just a boost to the entire economic region. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
And we appreciate you being here every year to shake hands with people and talk.
I'm always glad to be here. Grateful that we have places like this, the freedoms in this country that we enjoy, where people can get together in a setting like this. And then you see a lot of families, a lot of kids that are involved in showing or observing, exhibiting. It really is it's a special event, and does have a pretty profound economic impact on the economy, not only here in Rapid City, but in the Black Hills region. Yep. And so it's a signature event on the calendar every year, and we always try and make it.
When you go to a show like Denver, the National Western, or Fort Worth, or Houston, a lot of those shows are just cattle shows. Mm-hmm. And what we are is we're actually a commercial cattleman show where we sell our bulls and heifers during the show. Right. Most of those, you go, they show their best bull out of their herd, and then they take him and they just take that bull from show to show to show to try to win awards with it. Right. Here, our commercial cattle guys, the guys that you see up and down the highway when you're driving and you see little black and white faced calves running around, our commercial cattlemen in South Dakota and the region, they come here because they want to buy better genetics. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The stock show is all about producing better beef. Yep. That's the entire reason for having the Black Hills Stock Show, is to produce better beef.
They'll bring in 10 different breeds all week long, and they have different shows each day. Some days have multiple breed shows. And so within each of those breeds, they're looking for the best bull, the champion female, cow or heifer. And what that does is that actually helps propel the industry forward, but it also helps set the sale order for later that day. The higher you do in the show in the morning, the earlier you get to sell in the sale that afternoon. So these cattle are washed head to toe starting months ago. They do that all the time to get their skin and their hair just right. They have all kinds of products that they put in their hair. Of course, they shampoo them. There's conditioner, and all of that helps that hair just come alive after they're washed. So not only are they washed and prepped really well, the cattle also have to be introduced to a halter, a show stick. You know, a lot of these bulls have the ring in their nose, which just helps give the showman a little bit extra control over them. After all, it is a really big animal, and if they wanted to take off, they wouldn't have much choice. So they have to be taught to be led. They have to be taught just how to stand just perfectly, and all of those tools help the showman show that cattle in absolutely the best light possible. It's sort of like picture day at school. They want them positioned and looking just perfect so that that judge has the best absolute perception of that animal. So in order to judge these classes, in order to separate, you know, the best first place from lower in the class, the judges are looking for a lot of different attributes in the cattle. They're looking for straight legs and good bone structure, and that helps the cattle move and stay free. They're also looking for an animal that's wide and long-bodied, because after all, these are animals that are basically carrying meat. That's what we're growing them for. So the bigger that they are, the more meat they can carry. They also want an animal that, you know, moves freely and stays fresh and healthy looking, because we want those animals to be comfortable as long as they can for their entire lives. So Matt Kammerer and Kammerer Livestock are here exhibiting like they have been for several years. A lot of the breeders actually use the Black Hills Stock Show as a marketing tool to help get more people to their bull sale later on, just like the cameras are doing for their sale in April. Matt's got a bull here. His daughter Jess helps show that bull. Again, they want to get that in front of the buyers and set up as nicely as they can. They use that show stick to set its feet just properly so that it has a nice big wide stance and it looks like a bull that's going to last for a long time. But also one of the things that's really blown up over the past few years is the horse, the equine industry. This horse sale is just, I mean, it's an event in and of itself.
It's become an event. I mean, our horse sale has just become an event. And of course, the Farm Credit Services horse sale is a 2-day sale. So we take about 200 horses, about 100 a day is what we're looking for sales.
Yep.
Last year we set a record at over 2.5 million.
Wow.
This year we beat that record in sales.
I'm here with Justin Collins, and you're here at the Black Hills Stock Show. What are you doing here?
I have a horse training business, and so I sale prep them and getting ready for the sale.
So not your horse, you're just the guy making sure this horse is absolutely the best it can be and goes for top dollar. How long have you been working with this horse?
I've had this horse about 2.5 months.
Really?
And it had been rode prior, and she's a really nice horse. Yep, she just sold 25,000, so I mean,
excellent.
More than happy. And the owners are happy, so that's the most important thing.
Excellent. So this is basically what you do for a living, is that right?
Yeah, I start 2-year-olds and train horses and ride rope horses, and it's a full-time, round-the-clock deal. I always wanted rope. I liked riding horses. I didn't know that I wanted to train horses, and I just kind of fell into it. Sell a lot of them here every year. This is the most prestigious sale of the year, and you know everybody's always looking forward to this, and people really show up for it.
There's a heck of a crowd every year, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a big crowd.
Yeah, this is a big deal, not just for Rapid City, but really this is kind of all over, right?
It's a big deal. They bring people in from everywhere, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, you know, Illinois, all over the place.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
What we're doing today is we're just trying to promote the farrier industry. Our job is to keep horses happy, but especially in South Dakota, it is hard to find education. It is hard to find camaraderie, guys that want to work together, because we shoot horses partially because we like to do our own thing. We all have our own flares and everything. I started traveling around to other groups, getting to know other people. You know, it was these groups of guys and sharing information. It was incredible. I was able to elevate my level of my own work, and I kind of wanted to bring something like that back. So we started getting together, and then the next thing you know, we were incorporated, and here we have the High Plains. The only way that we can show that horses are important is to educate. And if we're educated but our clients don't know, or the public doesn't know, then they don't know there's maybe a better standard.
Let's just talk a little bit about some of the cool events that are going on here at Rodeo Rapid City. We got a bucking horse sale, you know, a lot of young horses, a lot of younger riders here too. It's a really neat event for folks that haven't seen it, because you basically buck one of them horses out that maybe has never been on. Yeah. You're still scoring the cowboys like a rodeo, but then right after that, the folks get a chance to buy one of them bucking horses too.
Yeah, and they were all ranch raised on our place, except for this year, Jim Meeks, I needed a few more, and so I took 8 from him, and he's got the bloodlines from us through the years, because he's bought horses here at the sale. You got a chance to buy some good ones.
Absolutely. Talk about, you know, the big Rodeo Rapid City. You had some pretty cool events, Extreme Bulls, Extreme Broncs. It's just a testament to the entire rodeo that you guys run. I mean, it's awesome for the fans. Everybody needs to come see it.
And Rapid City here's been in the top 5 of rodeo of the year for 20-some times, and then won it 4, and that's Dallas and Fort Worth and Houston. We're up against the big boys. When they announce that, or we talk like we've started the Wrangler bullfights here, Dad did, the Bailey Buckoffs, and you talk about that, the people in the stands know about it. I mean, we created a following.
So we're here at the Black Hills Stock Show, the Youth Livestock Show, where we're teaching the youth of America all kinds of valuable skills. Now these kids come in here, they bring their animals in, they wash them in here in the wash racks, and then we bring them out here and they start blow drying them and primping them and prepping them so they look their absolute best. It's really good for the kids, it's really good for the livestock, and it's a whole lot of fun, and it's a lot of really good competition.
So you want their hair to look the best it can and be the best, you know, quality that it can. You know, people put a lot of products in their own hair. Well, we do the same kind of thing with our cattle. Get that hair so it'll fluff, so that it's easier to clip out, so that you can get that good clip job done. And just to make them look just that much better. You know, that hair pops, it makes them look a little wider. Well, I certainly put a lot more time into their hair than I do my own. So all of those kind of things, that just trying to, again, bring out their best traits. If you really want to be serious and compete, you've got to do a lot of work at home. And so they've got to be washed and clipped ahead of time. You've got to do some work at home. And it's more than just that. I mean, feeding these livestock, you got to feed them to be here, because these aren't, not every calf looks like these show calves. And they don't need to. But to be the most competitive in our livestock judging show, you know, livestock competitions here, where these kids are showing what they figure is the best of the best, or the best of theirs, that's really what you want to do.
So as we see here, the animals have come out of the wash rack. They're still really wet and they got a lot of hair. Obviously it's winter time and they've been working hard to grow their hair so that they can blow dry them, and that's what we're seeing back here. Now we see an animal coming around and he's been blown dry and all primped and prepped and looking good to get into the show ring.
Out with the most complete individual. I think he's one that, you know, is just so smooth from one end to the other. He's one that transitions really well. He's the nicest balanced calf in the class, and I think when you get behind him, he's sure got plenty of product. Just an awful nice, ultra good kind of show steer there to win the class. Young man's calf in second, obviously the young man doesn't.
This is just a wonderful event. I know you try to make it every year. It's just a great thing for the entire city and western South Dakota, the region as a whole.
It is, and I see you at this event pretty much every year, James. Always good to be back. It's a great way to connect with a lot of people who make their living in production agriculture, and a lot of people just from the surrounding communities who are interested in different ways in agriculture. This is always a wonderful event, and it's an opportunity for me to hear from people directly about, you know, what their priorities are when it comes to you know, the issues that impact agriculture on a daily basis, and the ones that we have some impact on at the federal level.
When we bring people to town for this many nights, we've got to give them something to do, and there's got to be variety. And we do that through stray gathering events, music after events like the horse sale, but then we add in things like concerts. We had a couple of great concerts this year. I think that providing those different things for people gives them something to do when they get to the Rapid City. Now that's not to take away from the rest of Rapid City, because if you go out throughout the town, everybody that's producing events has people coming to town and going out and doing something different. Cinch Trade Show is a great trade show. Every space that's available has been sold for vendor booth space.
Yeah.
If you spend time and walk from booth to booth to booth within that, you're going to find vendors that are from white owl and sturgis and spearfish and Piedmont and all across the region, Murdo, that come and set up and try to meet people and show their wares. And this is their biggest sale event of the entire year.
Right.
I think one of the other things that's really interesting is the number of South Dakota made products that come to this show. I mean, it's really a great place to look at what's new and what's been invented by people in South Dakota to make ranching life easier or better or improved. And they do a great job at providing a great variety, and we do have things that are more urbanite in the trade show as well. So we covered the entire gamut. You want to get something to eat, something delicious, they've got it, whether it's at the Monument food stops or whether it's through some of the vendors selling everything from soup mixes and spices and jellies to cowboy hats. I would say this, that without the guidance of our board of directors and the hands-on help, I've got a fantastic staff. The Monument staff does a great job being a great host for the activities. Sutton Rodeo does a great job. And quite honestly, the community coming out and all the sponsors that help support to make this available, if we didn't have that kind of support in the community, the event simply wouldn't be what it is.